would you kind of gauge the way your team is playing so far?
You know, we've played well enough to win most nights. Been strong in third periods. I think we're uneven like a lot of teams, to be honest, in terms of a full 60-minute game. But, you know, we're good in most areas, so usually find a way to get the 2 points, right? If, you know, our power play is good enough early in the year, penalty kills coming around. I think we're strong defensively. We're getting balanced scoring. So just no magic formula, but again, finding a way to kind of hang around and get to our game and then have good third periods.
Is there a way, Butch, that you have learned to balance win versus play the right way eventually to get, you know, into the playoffs that way? Because you've been to a cup, you've won a cup, you understand the road that it is to get to a Stanley Cup, and it's incredibly tiring.
It is. And so, yes, listen, we're trying to win every night. That'll never change. I think what I've learned is that if you don't win, you got to move on to the next game and not overthink it, Billy. And you're going to lose your share of games, just the way it is. And don't let it sort of seep into your confidence or energy level for the next game, right? So it's basically turn the page, win or lose. If you're winning games, obviously there's less you have to correct. If you're losing, well, then you're practicing probably a little more intense.
Yeah, Butchie, so games 40 through 60 are usually a hard time for a coach to keep his team motivated moving forward. What kind of tactics do you have? You don't have to give away all your secrets, but I know it's hard to keep your team engaged 40 through 60 always before the playoff run.
Yeah, you know what? You're right. That's where I think the good teams, the rooms can kind of run themselves a little bit. You know what I mean by that, Torch? Like, you don't need to have your foot on the gas all the time. You don't have to overuse video. You got to do your team reviews and your individual meetings, etc. But I just find that that's when you can back off a little bit if your leadership is on the same page, and ours are. So I can hand the room to the Petros, the Jacks, Stoney, and say, listen, here's what I'm seeing. You know, we need to self-correct. You know, can you take that message? So I think that's where there's a little more of kind of the ship sort of charts its own course. You're a little less hands on the wheel type of thing. And you can usually do that if your team's in a good place, and we are in terms of points, right? If you're chasing it, those 40 to 60 games are tough because every time you don't get points, you're thinking, God, that's one more chance. It slipped away. So you get a little more antsy. So we're not in that position. We're in a good position. So we can sort of take that approach right now. Now, we've also lost 3 of our last 4. So we got to be careful because things can change in a hurry in this league. And you guys all know that. You've seen it happen to a lot of good teams.
All right, Butch, if I gave you some truth serum and I said at this time of the year that Pavel Dorofeev would be leading your team in goals with 19. Before the season began, that is, true serum, would you have said, yeah, no problem, I could see that? Absolutely. Obviously, you've had a few injuries here and there, but he has stepped up big time. He's done some really good stuff for you guys.
Yeah, no, Billy, I would have said top 5, though, because I think he had something like 15 goals last year in 50 games. You know, his pace was you know, we figured he'd be a 20-goal scorer for us this year. How much more than that? You know, because we were going to use him on the power play, whether it's first or second unit. We weren't sure. He was going to play with a good center iceman if he stayed healthy. He can finish. He's got a great release. He's got a nose for the net. He gets inside. What's changed with him the most is his fitness. He came back this year. Not that he wasn't fit before, but he's gone from like the boy to the man stage a little bit. So he's harder on pucks. He's much harder to knock off the puck. So he's that much more dangerous in traffic. So happy for him. He's a great kid, no maintenance. He's a drafted player for us, and we don't have a lot of those because of the way the night started. But so the scouts are, they're happy to see a guy develop and go through the minor league system and make it. And he's a good hockey player. And if you get him the puck, he's going to score. He can finish. Just a natural.
Yeah, Butchie, for the fans moving forward, you're one of the assistant coaches for the Four Nations tournament that's coming up. On a sidebar, what are you doing to prepare for that moving forward?
Well, we've started meeting on Zoom once a week to go over some system stuff, talk about players, how we're going to deploy personnel. I've got the power play torch, so
Nice, nice.
I've done a presentation when the team was first named, and then there's going to be a follow-up because in case there's injury here coming up, and how we're going to use those players. So Pete's got the PK, so he's done, you know what I mean? So everyone's kind of done their area, touched up on it, and each week we try to drill down a little closer on, okay, the team is really taking shape now, there is no injuries, or next week there could be, I don't know. How we seeing the distribution of minutes, and that's all up to Coop, right? But there's just in-house conversations about that, and it's good. It gets the juices flowing, right? Because everyone's so in their own team trying to take care of business that you push it to the side, but you don't want to forget about it. It's an important tournament. It's an honor to be coaching, so you want to make sure you're still staying as current as you can.
Coach, obviously every coach wants to coach in the NHL and want to coach the highest level, but coaching in this Four Nations, I mean, the talent level that you will have on this roster is crazy. You ever kind of just step back and go, wow, I'm going to get a chance to, employ this player here and this person here and this, oh my God, my power play is going to be amazing?
Well, I will when we're there. I think that's when it'll truly kick in. The first day you get on the ice, and yeah, right there, right? So you see, that's what we're looking at every day. So it's not real yet until those bodies are, walking in the room and, hey, Connor, how you doing? Sid, like, wow, I better not let these guys down. I better have a good plan. I'm fortunate. There's a few guys from the Knights there, so there's some familiarity. I've coached Brad Marchand for a lot of years, so that's the good news. But I think that's when it'll truly hit home, when you have the red and white and the maple leaf crest on, and it's like, now it's country, right? It's not your organization, and I think it's going to be pretty special feeling.
All right, let me bring you back to your current team, the Vegas Golden Knights. Give us one thing in the next couple of weeks, or I know it's always a little something, nitpicking coaches like to do that, but is there one element to your team game, Butch, that you would like to see get better at, that you'd like to see your team improve on?
Our starts haven't been good enough. We're chasing the game a lot. We're never out of a game, Billy. We've come back a lot of times to win this year. Our last game, we started really poorly in Nashville. We made it a 4-3 game, and right there. But at the end of the day, you can't let that. Teams will start to put you away. So that's something we got to be better at. First period, getting going, finding our game quicker, I guess. I mean, you don't have to win the first 5 minutes of the game, but you got to get to your game sooner than we are lately. So that's the biggest thing that we're trying to correct. And that goes back to the game 40-60 motivation, right? Sometimes it's not that easy. Guys are like, oh boy, we still got, 35 more of these. And, so it takes a while to get in the game. You need to be dragged into the fight. And of course, that's our job as coaches to make sure that happens. But that's one area that we absolutely can get better at.
Butchie, how do you feel about the players that you lost last year, like Thompson and Net? I mean, I know you've done an incredible job from 2 years ago when you won the Cup. You went through 5 goalies, maybe 6. But Marchessault, losing a great goal scorer like him, I mean, you seem to just input these players and they just produce, like Howden. These are the guys that you're used to coaching them. You've built them that way, and that's how they've grown since you've been there.
Yeah, you know what? It's difficult to lose players. Especially ones you've won with. And I've been in the league now for X amount of years, and you find out with the salary cap, there's a certain business side of it that's going to happen. That's the tough part. You can't keep everybody together. And I wish every one of those players, I wish well. They're all good people. And I think torch every one of them. I can't speak for Krim. We made an attempt to try to keep. It's not like we traded them or waived them, or we wanted, I think, all of those players back. Now, Logan had asked for a trade, so that one's a little different, and he's doing well, and we got Samsonov doing well, and Aiden Hill. So, that's working out for everybody. But the other players, I wish them all the best. But we also knew that internally, Dorofeev, for example, we knew he could, with a little more minutes and more power play time. Yeah, is he going to be a Marchessault? I don't know exactly what, but he's going to score, and he plays right wing. So we're going to get some production there. To what level, we weren't sure, but we knew that we'd be in the ballpark. Howden with more time, and Kolasar. We saw some internal growth there that, a few extra minutes here or there. So there's a little bit of that we knew what we had. Now we've replaced some other, like Olofsson comes in from Buffalo, and he's done a great job. He got hurt. He missed 6 weeks right away, but he's scoring goals, and he's playing the right way for us. So that's a good find by our pro scouts and Krim to be able to fit him in the lineup. And Hertl and Hanifin full-time now. They're much more used to, playing our way. So we're getting good results from them. So we were able to replace those guys. It's not easy, but credit to Krim and his staff. And credit for the players and us, the players that were here, for coaching them up, and for the players to accepting, bigger roles and producing.
Butch, last question, and this is perhaps the most important one. How the heck did you not work in a round of golf on an off day in Carolina? That's what I want to know, because this is a guy here, folks, who loves his golf. Maybe you did. Maybe you just haven't told us.
It's 35 degrees today. It's sunny, but it's cold. I walked an hour. But it's cold in Vegas, I heard. It's cold everywhere, I guess, and there's snow. There's probably not a lot of golf going on in the National. Maybe in Florida. I don't know, but I don't think out west right now. So, and certainly not this part. It's too bad, because I know there'd be some great courses around here, but luck of the draw.
Your blood's gotten too soft, too thin since you've been out in Vegas.
You don't see the snow very often, and it gets to be 50 degrees, and you're like, oh, I can't take it.
Listen, I'm in New York all year long, Coach. I would not be out there in 35 degrees either. Coach, no. Good luck the rest of the way. Great having you with us, and we'll talk again very soon.
All right. Thanks for having me, fellas. Appreciate it.